Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Well, the mountaineering world is mourning the loss of one of its greatest, Nirmal Nims Purja, the Nepali climber who stunned the world in 2019 by summiting all 14 of Earth's 8,000-metre peaks in just 6 months and 6 days. Has died. He was 42. Purja was leading an expedition on Broad Peak in Pakistan's Karakoram range when disaster struck. A massive avalanche swept through his 10-member climbing team on Thursday. For nearly 2 days, rescue crews scoured the mountain by air and on foot, recovering the bodies of several climbers while searching desperately for survivors. On Saturday, his own team confirmed the news no one wanted to hear. Nirmal Purja had not survived. He leaves behind a legacy few will ever match. A first winter ascent of K2, record-breaking speed climbs, and a mission to put Nepal's own climbers at the front of a story the world had long overlooked. The peaks he conquered mourn him back. Rest well, Nims, is what we can say. And before we open this conversation with our guests, let's take a look at who the 10 mountaineers were, the rescue timeline, and the 5 most daring rescues of all time. And then, of course, we'll get talking with our guests and understand from them what this loss means to the world of mountaineering. Well, the 10 mountaineers of the world, of course, number 1 is Nirmal Nimsdai Purja, as he was known, Nepali expedition leader, famed for climbing all 14 8,000ers in 6 months. That's a huge accomplishment. It's almost impossible. Even while reading it, it sounds absolutely impossible. Pur Bahadur Yukta Gurung, Nepali guide, who died, unfortunately, as a result of this avalanche that, of course, was not predicted. Kili Kilu Pemba Sherpa, a Nepali high-altitude worker, was also declared dead in this avalanche. Nima Sherpa, Nepali high-altitude worker, has also passed away as a result of this enormous tragedy. In Pakistan is what we are learning. Navang Thindu Sherpa, Nepali high-altitude worker, is also dead as a result of this particular expedition gone wrong. Gyalu Sherpa, Nepali high-altitude worker, is also no more. And we obviously understand that the circumstances are still being discovered as to what was the condition they were found in. Suhail Saki, Pakistani climber from Hunza, summited Kanchenjunga K2 without oxygen, a feat which perhaps sounds impossible to the untrained. Wang Zhong, a Chinese high-altitude climber, is also dead in this expedition. So 8 people have died so far, total of 10. We are not sure about whether their bodies have been recovered. American high-altitude climber Mallory Geese is also amongst those people who died as a result of this unfortunate accident. And last, Nadhira Al-Harthi, Omani climber, first Omani woman to summit Everest, is also no more as a result of this avalanche. Okay, so the rescue timeline, 30th July, I beg your pardon, 9:30 in the morning. Avalanche hits west ridge of the Broad Peak at 6,600 meters between Camp 2 and Camp 3. These are suggestive visuals of what must have happened. July 30th, the same time, 10-member expedition team pushed 1,000 meters downhill. All contact was lost at this point in time. The next day, ground teams had set out. At first light, it's impossible to conduct any rescue operations in the dark. It's inviting a lot of trouble, and those visuals are also in fact coming in from the site of that tragedy and of course the rescue operation as well. All right, we're going to speak to some of our guests and try and understand as to what were the circumstances in which these 10 expeditious as well as trained mountaineers died, and what could have been done differently. Mr. Rajneesh Joshi, Principal Himalayan Mountaineer, is with us at this point in time. Mr. Joshi, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Mr. Joshi, what do you make of this tragedy? These were experienced mountaineers, what could have happened that all 10 of them had to succumb to this tragedy?
See, first of all, it is a fury of nature. So, as a mountaineer or the experienced mountaineer, so nobody can predict the weather to the point. So, there were a lot of things behind us, large which is trigger. So, there were a lot of like the weather was not good, the terrain which was not stable, and this was beyond the human capabilities to predict these things, and these are the natural calamities which happen. So may a climber is trained or not, the fury of the nature shows its existence.
All right. Well, what do you make of the fact that there was perhaps not too much research done as to the disposition and the nature of this mountain, and why didn't some of these experienced mountaineers account for an avalanche like this?
See, as far as the data goes, till date there have been 39 deaths in the Broad Peak till date. And out of these 39 deaths, there are only 4 deaths which has happened because of the avalanches in the past. So, the Nirmal Purja, as you are all aware that this was his third attempt to this peak. So he had already climbed this peak twice earlier. So this was, I can again say that this was the nature. You can't fight the nature. This was supposed to happen, so it happened, which is very tragic.
Colonel Vijay Singh, veteran mountaineer, is also joining us on the broadcast. Colonel Vijay Singh, appreciate you joining us. The world has lost one of mountaineering's greatest climbers. What do you have to say about this tragedy? Colonel Singh? Colonel Singh, are you there with us? All right. Rajneesh, I'm going to come back to you. In your experience, what kind of a terrain does this mountain have, and what has been the success rate for some of the people and fellow mountaineers that you have in fact known in the past when it comes to the difficulties that come with this mountain?
So I'll just give you a gist about what the Broad Peak is all about. So Broad Peak is the 12th highest peak of the world, standing at 8051 meters. So which is approximately 8 kilometers northeast of the K2, which is the deadliest mountain. So this peak is a approachable mountain in past. So as per the record which I dictated, I'll again dictate those records, which speaks about the casualty rates in this peak. So this peak has been reasonably in terms of it has been good in terms of less casualties. So it was unfortunate that this incident has happened. Otherwise, this peak was not known as a deadliest peak as compared to other peaks like K2 and the Kanchenjunga and other peaks.
Right, and we are also told that Broad Peak, Rajneesh, is pretty similar to K2 in terms of its difficulties and in terms of its detriments that mountaineers have to account for. What is this tragedy going to do to the confidence of the people who still have aspirations to go on top of these mountains, according to you?
The name Broad Peaks actually comes because the ridge line is around 2 kilometers broad. That's why the name of this peak. That's why the name of this peak comes. As far as the aspirations of the future climbers is concerned, I don't think that this incident should hamper their confidence. These are natural calamities which are beyond the human control. So they should be working hard and they should be focusing on the climb, which I think, because we always mountaineering is a risky sport. So things like this are part and parcel of the mountaineering field.
All right, let's in fact take a look at the 5 most daring rescues of all time. I'm going to go to the big screen and in fact tell you what some of them have been like. Well, the 5 most daring mountain rescues have been extremely precarious in nature. The first one that we're going to talk about is from 1983, which happened in Benta Brak. Who was stuck? Douglas Scott was stuck. The rescue duration was 12 days. That's a long time. He descended with both legs broken, crawled for days before he was eventually evacuated. This was a daring feat. If it's taken 12 days, so then you could have imagined what were the odds of his rescue. In 1996, the Mount Everest disaster, who was stuck? Well, Beck Weathers was stuck and his team was also stuck. The rescue duration was a little over 2 days. He descended with both legs broken. And as you can see from his face as well, that he definitely was a victim of frostbite as well. 2018, the Nanga Parbat, the winter rescue, who was stuck? Elizabeth Revol was stuck. The rescue duration was another 2 days. It was a nighttime winter helicopter insertion near 6,000 meters. Nighttime rescues are extremely precarious. They are fraught with danger and a lot of them end up badly as well. In 2018, the Latok one, who was stuck? Alexander Gukov. The rescue duration was a whopping 7 days. It was a helicopter winch rescue which succeeded. He survived alone on a vertical wall. The last one, the 2023 Annapurna one, who was stuck? Anurag Mallu was stuck. Rescue operation was 3 days. Found alive inside a deep crevice. Extraction required complex multi-team rope operations, and that of course was made possible because the teams that end up rescuing these mountaineers are extremely proficient at what they do, and this is obviously one of those 5 daring rescues that happened. Colonel Vijay Singh is also joining us on the program. Colonel Singh, appreciate you being here with us, sir. It's a great loss for the mountaineer community as well as the adventure community. What do you make of this terrible accident that took place here? Colonel Singh. Colonel Singh, are you there with us? Colonel Vijay Singh, are you there with us, sir?
Mute.
All right, perhaps not. Let me go back to Rajneesh once again. Rajneesh, apologies. I guess it's just you and me talking about these rescue operations. Also, give our viewers an insight into, how dangerous are some of these rescue operations. There have been rescue operations where some of the rescue teams have also succumbed to the danger of excavation.
I'll just give few points. Like there are few challenges apart from the weather that the rescue teams which they have to face. First is the avalanche terrain, wherein the avalanche is triggered. So it remains unstable. Moving to that area which is being swept because of the avalanche, it may occur a risk of secondary avalanche. Then comes the extreme weather, because you are aware that high altitude expeditions above 6,000, 6,500 meters with heavy snowfall and strong winds, and which further leads to the poor visibility and low temperatures. So it actually affects the speed of the rescue team as well. And the most important aspect especially with respect to the Broad Peak, is like it is a remote location in the Karakoram, wherein the kind of infrastructure which is there available in terms when we talk about the Everest is not there. Everest, we have a lot of helicopters in place, we have a lot of teams ready in place to give, to act swiftly for any kind of rescue. Secondly, what I think is, there's a limitation with respect to the, helicopters' capability as well, because in the high altitude area, the hovering of helicopters at that altitude and the weight, load capacity is also not there. And there is one more aspect, especially with respect to the broad peak, is that we have limited number of people who are readily available at base camp for the rescue. So I think these all aspects are posing challenges in terms of this rescue with respect to the broad peak.
Rajneesh, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on now. Some breaking news coming in.